Yeah. Hello. Here we are, six friends of the Clojure community. We are having one of our real-world data meetings, and we decided to make a little part of the meeting public. And we are Sami and Harold and Adham and Svetomir and Henning and Daniel. We'll just briefly introduce ourselves and discuss a few of our upcoming projects. Maybe Adham, would you like to begin and say something about who you are?
Thank you, Daniel. I'm Adham. I am a backend developer. I work with Clojure full-time. We work on creating data-driven tools that help businesses solve their problems. Recently, for example, we had a client request a minimal CRM to treat their 40,000 something customers from the past 2 years. And we built that with Clojure on the back end and all of its amazing data analysis tools. And we produced multiple reports about about the product and the clients, and it was really amazing to work with Clojure in this domain. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. Hello, Henning. Would you like to say something?
Yes, I'm Henning from Norway. I'm a software developer doing part-time Clojure. I work in maritime operations, public transport. We have loads of vessels, boats that carry people and cars, and they are using a EU XML data standard for projecting vessels on route, and we have itineraries, schedules. And I'm trying to understand and use Clojure to do machine learning on large volumes of vessel data in public transport.
Fantastic. Hello, Svetomir.
Hello.
Would you like to say something about who you are and what you care about?
Yes, so I'm Svetomir Dimov. I'm a cognitive psychologist based in Geneva. I've been a researcher in psychology for over a decade now. I'm currently working on studying collaborative skill acquisition and collaborative planning. And I've been using Clojure for over a year now in my project. I've also been a contributor to Clojure, so I have contributed with documentation to Notch, which is the entry point for the various libraries in Clojure. And I've also contributed a little bit to TablePlots, the plotting library of Clojure, and to Tablecloth.
Thank you so much. I'm Danielle. My background is math and statistics. I've been doing statistics and geography with Clojure, and nowadays I'm a community organizer at the Clojure group. Hello, Sami.
Hi, yeah, I'm Sami Kallinen. I work at 8-Bit Sheep, which is a consultancy in Finland. Now, currently, I mostly work with Clojure, web development, but also I'm also busy with data science with Clojure. Previously, I used to use R, but now for quite some years I've been doing it on Clojure. Busy with these technologies. Yeah, I have been helping out in Clojure since more or less the beginning, I guess, on and off. That's me.
Are you on a boat?
Yeah. I'm actually on the boat. In the fall, I did a presentation at Heart of Clojure where I was measuring some statistics from this very boat, actually. So now I'm in a fishing harbor in middle of Baltic in an island called Gotland. Yeah, and I'm working from the boat now. I've been here on the boat for a few months already, actually.
Thank you so much. Hello, Harold.
Hi, yeah. My name's Harold. My company is called TechAscent, and we're very deeply invested in data processing in Clojure and on the JVM. And I'm very excited for the upcoming Macroexpand Naj conference that Daniel's organizing it aligns really well with our goals of trying to grow the community and improve these libraries and to show the world that software development in Clojure is the way to handle all your data problems. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, and so we will share some community projects now. And by the way, everything we're sharing now was, very much affected by everybody here, throughout the last year. We had lots of discussions where everybody here kind of affected the planning of this. And a few other friends who are not here, like most recently, Timothy and Xiong and Siavash are very much involved in planning our community building. And now, we can spend a moment and see what Clojure is about at the moment. So Clojure is this group which, has been working on helping Clojure grow into new fields, uncommon use cases, and so on. And recently, we have formed this activity around those Macroexpand meetings, which are, one of our meetup series. And this Macroexpand gatherings series is, kind of directed into focused questions of how we can help Clojure grow in those spaces where it is not so present yet, like data science, scientific computing, and other fields. And this upcoming meeting, Macroexpand 2, will take place, very soon in August. And it will focus this time on companies and other groups and individuals who care about Clojure and data, data visualization, data analysis, data engineering, and so on, and data modeling. And we want this meeting to be a space where different groups can think together about the pain points, about the challenges and hopes and opportunities of what they can, do together to cover their needs in using Clojure for data. So that's one thing we may briefly chat about in a moment. And the other thing is the coming conferences that will take place in October. So this Macroexpand 2025 project is just a pair of two conferences. Each will take, 2 days, where we'll have online talks about use cases of Clojure. The Macroexpand Nudge will be about the Nudge toolkit for data analysis, and Macroexpand Deep will be about AI, actually the first Clojure AI conference. And these days we're thinking about the process coming, to these conferences. And as always, the way we do these things, we like to make our, all talks an active exploration of something new, a new project, documenting something, creating something, analyzing new data sets, and so on. And the whole process will be targeted at making, the ecosystem grow, right? So that's what it is about. And we'll keep talking about it. And if anybody's, wishing to present a talk and propose something, then we hope to chat and create, small teams of presenters who will help each other preparing the proposals and the talks. And, we'll keep talking about all that in the coming weeks and further. Yeah, so that's a little bit about what is coming in the community. And maybe some people here may, wish to comment about that and, have some contradicting thoughts or supporting ideas and so on. Any comments, any thoughts about what we should talk about now in this brief video?
I think maybe a plug for the Clojurian Zulip as a place to bring those conversations.
Thank you so much. Yeah, let us mention that briefly. So let us mention two community spaces which are worth mentioning. So if you go to the Clojure website, then one thing you can see is this information about the chat that we use. And we use the Zulip chat, which is this great chat platform, an open source platform that has been so valuable in our ways of helping each other, but also managing knowledge that kind of emerges as chat. And so everybody's invited there. And, Harold mentioned that, and Harold is one of those helpful people you can find in the chat that will help you when you have any trouble. So you're encouraged to join the Zulip chat. Another community space is the Clojure Civitas that was created very recently by Timothy Prattley. And here you can find posts by a growing group of Clojure authors who have been writing about different topics. And we encourage everybody to contribute to this new space by Timothy. And actually, it is something that will be used extensively in the conferences as the space for conference notes and so on. So that's Civitas, and that was Zulip. And yeah, thank you for mentioning that. Did we have any other thing to talk about? Any other thoughts
And maybe one thing you should mention is that all talks from the Macroexpand Notch conference, from the upcoming data science Clojure conference, they will also be present on Clojure Civitas, specifically the notebooks from those talks.
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, that's the kind of process we want. We want talks to be reproducible notebooks. And that's kind of special. And that's something that, of course, Svetomir, you have demonstrated in your past talk, and we wish to follow that experience. Yeah.
One thing that I'd like to note about like reproducibility and notebooks is that maybe we can think of having the scenario where someone is like new to Clojure, coming into Clojure, and we would like to provide them with something that can be as simple as a single file that represents a notebook, which they can run with the Clojure CLI and maybe utilize the adlibs utilities to like get the libraries they need and like run everything from like a single command and a single namespace. I think that would be like very helpful for people who are like, for example, familiar with Java and like they want to check out Clojure, they want to try one of these notebooks and they just want to CLJ and then the notebook name and then everything runs.
That's great.
Perhaps a related thought is that we can also add tags to the various notebooks on Clojure Civitas. These tags could list the type of analysis that were done in each notebook. And this could also help novices looking to reproduce analysis already done in Clojure to find the correct notebook and find the portion of the notebook that has this analysis.
Yeah. Do we wish to say anything? I think, as much as you like, Henning, you had some brilliant comments before we started this public recording. And if you wish to repeat any of those insights, I think that would be really lovely here, but, as much as you like.
Are you thinking about my dystopic view of the world coming with LLMs?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's not dystopic. I made a statement that we are welcoming and encouraging and trying to reach Clojure developers or potential Clojure developers or just explorers of any range of experience or skill or level, and especially, of course, people that are new to both software development, but also new to Clojure as a language. And this has been a thing that has been on and off in the Clojure community since day one. Both fortunately and unfortunately, we see more senior developers coming to Clojure. I've heard interesting podcasts and talks about that for some time now. Some are talking about that relief. Some are talking about even being traumatized by object-oriented languages and overload of C++ or Java or wherever you're coming from. So it seems to be an overload of experienced developers and senior developers, but we are really trying to, this group as well as other Clojure groups, are trying to embrace newcomers and early adopters or early explorers of software development. And my statement in this is that we trying to prematurely optimize a problem that we don't fully understand yet. Because with the recent 1 year, 2 years, publicly available AI and generative AI with LLMs, suddenly the whole software developer game is up in the air once more. We don't know what the future is. We are looking at vibe coding. We are looking about using AI as a more precision tool to generating code. Either way, we don't know the end game. And as a humble observation, anecdotal observation on my own behalf, I've seen both pessimistic and optimistic descriptions of how we assess Clojure in a future world of agents and AI. Some say it sucks because it misses all the parentheses or doesn't understand the language. Others say that you can, and I've experienced myself, that you can have really, really good results using generated code. AI, Clojure, together with a few other languages, are the only ones that are truly REPL driven. And then having an AI agent working a problem over and over and consuming its own output, and their output being executable code that you can run in a REPL without having to rebuild and compile the system, is a superpower that we haven't really understood yet. So we're looking at language and a paradigm of functional programming that some people perceive to be really hard to use in an AI world, and others seems beneficial. And I also seen these rants on Lisp style languages maybe having a bigger place in the future because LLMs seem to be able to embrace them in ways that we haven't seen yet. So we're looking at newcomers, especially in this context, newcomers either to software development in general or just to Clojure and as a language. And we know that part of newcomers will actively use AI to generate code and understand code and learn code, and others will maybe for dogmatic reasons, maybe for learning, for believing in a future with properly written and well thought out code, write things themselves. So long message short, we are looking at a scene that is changing.
Yeah, thank you so much for this. Yeah, maybe my brief response is that it is kind of an important reminder that we don't know. And of course, broadly speaking, there is so much to be concerned about the world and about technology. And yeah, we are concerned and kind of sad about many things. And then also it is a reminder that if we run any conferences, then we need lightweight explorations and open discussions that will allow us to observe what there is, but still be open to be surprised, right? And support each other and not be alone in these explorations. Yeah. Any more comments about that? Or about any other thing regarding the coming conferences and meetings? Yeah, maybe. Oh, somebody's going to say something, maybe.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I'm excited by this, and I really like the way throughout the years, I think it's been distilled into something, Bug, who is the maintainer and developer of Cider, I remember he always used to say that he does conference talk-driven development, which is of course a bit in his style, a bit funny, and but of course also true. And I like the way these are kind of formulated, so they are sort of conference talk driven, not just development of the Clojure stack and tools, which it indeed is, but also community building and sort of a user experience building at the same time. But it's a very, very clever and nice way of doing it. And also, this day and age, it's faster to do content as well because of all of these issues we were just discussing. So it's not it can become more and more efficient way also to do this, and I'm pretty excited about it. Of course, we've been talking about 3 different events, so there's kind of focus is a little bit different in them, and it's true that the AI question, of course, is something that concerns all of them in one way or another, whether we talk about how to develop the Clojure offering of data science in the sort of context of data problems in companies, which is close to my heart. I want to see how we can develop that part, but also, of course, in Notch as well, as because that's coding. How do we use these tools to help coding, and the last one, Deep, is actually about that in different ways. So, but yeah, it's interesting to see, because I guess we will need to get many different perspectives on all of these things. One discussion that we had earlier, and which was mentioned here, the sort of beginner approach. I remember this is something that we were very busy with in the beginning of Clojure. I think we still are, and I can see that it is. But we had a moment where we did a presentation where we actually did user tests for data scientists who hadn't used Clojure before, and we recorded this user test and saw how difficult it was to get started. And luckily, it's easier now. Like it was mentioned, we had these Adlibs tools, and there's a few other tools as well. Daniel has also demonstrated some simple ways where you can immediately just work on a text file and it works. But these things are still important, and we shouldn't forget about them. I remember I had a little exercise I tried to do. We never published anything, but at the point I had this kind of a concept of from 0 to plot, and I measured the time, how long it takes from a completely empty machine with no IDE, with no Clojure. How long does it take before I can output a plot in Clojure? And maybe that's something we could revisit at some point, maybe in these conferences or then in some other position. Okay, that ended up being a very long rant, but I'm finished now.
That's great. Yeah. We should do that, shouldn't we? Yeah. We have a little more time. If anybody wishes to add anything to this public video, or in a moment we will probably say goodbye to the public part and keep chatting more openly. Any more thoughts or comments about anything? Yeah, right. So we will say goodbye to our public listeners and keep going with our internal chat, and see you on the next times.